Dr. Elena Vasquez stood at the helm of the Earth Scientific Consortium, the most prestigious institution in the galaxy. For years, she had been part of humanity's quiet rise from its primitive roots, studying Earth's prehistory and the ancient origins of human civilization. Elena's career had always been rooted in academia, buried in the endless mysteries of Earth's past, and she had long been content with that. But as the first human scientist to be granted access to the Valian project, the tides of her life were about to change. The galaxy was vast, an interconnected web of civilizations with their own histories, politics, and wars. Humanity had carved out a place among the stars, establishing itself as a peaceful, technologically advanced species. Earth had become a hub of cultural exchange, exploration, and diplomacy, a beacon for those seeking knowledge and understanding. Yet, despite its prominence, humanity was far from a major galactic power. Ancient species like the Zark and the Krellzash, with their millennia of history and experience in war and conquest, cast long shadows over Earth's burgeoning influence. It was under these circumstances that Dr. Vasquez, with her quiet brilliance, was assigned the most significant task of her career. She had been chosen to lead a team studying the recently discovered DNA of an alien species, an ancient forgotten race called the Valian. This species, older than any known galactic civilization, had left behind traces of their biology in a sector of the galaxy that had remained unexplored until now. The discovery was both thrilling and unsettling. If Earth could unlock the genetic secrets of the Valian, it could revolutionize humanity's understanding of evolutionary biology and technological advancement. However, no one had anticipated that the research would uncover something much darker. Elena's team had set up a state-of-the-art research facility on the outskirts of the solar system, near the moon of one of Earth's outer planets. The project was designed to uncover the nature of Valian genetics, what made them such an ancient, advanced civilization. How had they disappeared, leaving behind only remnants of their once great society? The answers were believed to be locked within their DNA, and Elena had the key to unlock it. Days turned into weeks as Elena and her team worked tirelessly, extracting data from the Valian genetic samples. They found that the Valian were unlike any species previously encountered by humanity. Their genetic structure was vastly different from anything known, hinting at a sophisticated biological system that had evolved far beyond anything humans could imagine. But as they dug deeper, the findings became increasingly unsettling. Hidden within the Valian DNA was not just biological information, but something far more complex. A memory matrix. At first, Elena thought it was a fluke, a misinterpretation of the data. But as she reran the simulations, she saw that it was real. There were memories encoded within the Valian genes, memories of their failed attempts to conquer Earth, long before humanity had even begun to build cities. The memory matrix revealed shocking details of an ancient war that had been waged between the Valian and an alliance of galactic powers, including the now mighty Karath Dominion. These galactic powers had worked together to stop the Valian from invading Earth, not because of any love for humanity, but because they feared what humanity could become. What Elena uncovered next was even more disturbing. The Karath Dominion, which had once been a minor power, had orchestrated a plot to keep Earth hidden and underdeveloped in the galaxy's greater power structures. Earth's advanced technology, hidden in the depths of its ancient past, was considered a threat by these powers. They had made sure humanity remained isolated, unnoticed, and suppressed until the right moment came. Elena's fingers hovered over the keyboard as she processed the implications of the discovery. Earth had never truly been left alone. It had been deliberately isolated. The Karath Dominion had been manipulating the course of human history, ensuring that the species would never discover its true potential. The Dominion had kept Earth's position in the galaxy's secret, watching silently as humanity grew, waiting for the day when they would have to act. The data she had uncovered was explosive. Earth was not just a passive observer of galactic history. It had been an active player in an ancient war, one that the rest of the galaxy had sought to bury. The Valian had been their first attempt to conquer Earth, but their failure had been orchestrated by the Karath, who feared the latent power humanity might possess. The truth was even more profound. Humanity had the potential to be a dominating force in the galaxy, and this potential had been deliberately buried by the powers that ruled it. A cold chill crept down Elena's spine as she sat back in her chair, processing the enormity of what she had uncovered. The very fabric of her reality was shaking. She had always believed humanity's place in the galaxy was one of peace, diplomacy, and quiet growth. But now, it seemed that everything she had been taught, everything she had come to believe, was wrong. Earth was not just an innocent player, it was a threat, a potential rival, one the galaxy's powers had feared for centuries. Her discovery had set off a chain reaction. Within hours of accessing the hidden data, Elena's research facility was compromised. A fleet of unknown ships, marked with the insignia of the Karath Dominion, appeared in Earth's orbit. Elena's team scrambled to secure the data and contact Earth's leaders, but it was clear the Dominion had already learned of their findings. The Karath had always been watching, and now they were ready to silence anyone who knew the truth. Elena knew she had to act quickly. The Dominion's forces were not known for their mercy. As alarms blared through the facility, she grabbed the data drive containing the most critical information proof of Earth's secret history and fled the lab. She had no choice but to run, to get the truth out to the world before the Dominion could destroy it. The future of humanity, and of the galaxy, rested on what she could do next. The universe had always seemed so vast, so disconnected. But as she ran, Elena realized that Earth was no longer an isolated world. It was the center of a galaxy-wide conspiracy, and the Karath Dominion was only the beginning. They had been preparing for a long time, waiting for the day when humanity would wake up to the truth. But they had underestimated humanity's ability to fight back, and they were not ready for the consequences of awakening a sleeping giant. The galaxy was about to change. The explosion rocked the research facility, sending waves of panic through Elena Vasquez's team. As the fire alarm shrieked and blinding lights flashed in every corridor, Elena knew that they were no longer safe. She gripped the data drive tightly in her hand, the one piece of evidence that could expose everything. It was the only thing that mattered now, everything she had worked for. The truth about the Valian, the galaxy's manipulation of humanity's rise, it all rested on that small, unassuming drive. Her heart raced as she sprinted through the chaos, the echoes of the explosion still reverberating in the air. But when she reached the command center, the shock hit her with full force. The research facility was gone, completely obliterated. Her team, the data, the precious knowledge she had uncovered, all lost in a single, brutal act of destruction. It was clear now that the Karath Dominion was willing to do anything to silence her, to prevent her from exposing their long-hidden agenda. But as she stepped outside into the night, Elena realized that she wasn't alone. Her escape had been messy, but she had made it off-world and was heading to her ship when a figure stepped out of the shadows. She froze, reaching for the weapon at her side, but then the figure spoke. "Dr. Vasquez." The voice was calm, steady, and unmistakably alien. "I can help you." It was a Karath officer, though Elena could tell immediately that something was different. His uniform was tattered. His once perfect posture had begun to falter. His eyes, cold and calculating a moment ago, now showed signs of doubt. "I'm Tasher," he continued, "and I'm not your enemy." Elena didn't lower her guard. Tasher could have been a trap, a final attempt by the Dominion to destroy her. But something in his demeanor made her hesitate. There was a vulnerability in his stance that hinted at something more, something she couldn't place. Tasher explained that he had defected from the Karath Dominion after discovering the full scope of their conspiracy. The Dominion had been manipulating the galaxy for centuries, but their true fear was humanity. Tasher had once believed the Dominion's propaganda that humanity was a primitive, insignificant species, but what he had learned had shaken him to his core. "They've been controlling the rise of civilizations for eons," Tasher said, his voice low. "And Earth. Earth is a key part of their strategy. They knew what you could become. They know you still have untapped power, the power to shift the balance of the galaxy." Elena listened, the pieces of her discoveries beginning to align. The Dominion had been watching Earth from the shadows, ensuring that humanity would remain in the dark. But the truth ran deeper. Tasher's revelation was nothing short of explosive. The Dominion's manipulation wasn't just about controlling humanity, it was about suppressing it. They feared Earth's potential, the power it could one day wield if left unchecked. Elena's hands trembled as she stared at the artifact, its strange markings seeming to shift and pulse with a life of their own. The truth was now clear. Humanity wasn't a product of random evolution. It was engineered. The ancient civilization had designed humanity to be the perfect species capable of transcending the limits of any race in the galaxy. It was the culmination of their greatest ambition to create a species that would rise above the rest, surpassing all the powers that currently ruled the galaxy. And humanity had done it. But not by accident. As she pieced together the fragmented data, Elena discovered that the galaxy's powers, particularly the Karath Dominion, had known this all along. They had worked together, systematically suppressing humanity's potential, ensuring that Earth remained isolated and underdeveloped for millennia. They had stunted humanity's progress, deliberately keeping them ignorant of their true origins, terrified of what might happen if Earth ever awoke to its full potential. Elena's mind raced. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just another race in the galaxy. They had been chosen, bred to be something more. The very essence of human existence had been manipulated for a purpose that no one, not even the humans themselves, had fully understood. But there was more. The artifact she had uncovered was not merely a piece of ancient technology, it was a key, a map leading to the heart of the Veil. Within the Veil lay the remnants of the long-forgotten civilization, and with it, the possibility of accessing godlike power. Whoever controlled the Veil would have the ability to reshape reality itself, to wield unimaginable power across the galaxy. A voice pulled Elena out of her thoughts. Tasher, the defected Karath officer, had been by her side through this journey. He too understood the gravity of the situation. He had been the one to reveal the truth about the Dominion's manipulation, but even he was now shaken by what Elena had uncovered. Elena, do you see what this means? Tasher's voice was filled with awe and something deeper fear. The Dominion, the Lyrans, they've been holding us back because they know. They know what humanity is capable of. This is what they feared from the start. But Elena was no longer sure she wanted to be a part of this galaxy-wide struggle for dominance. She stared at the artifact in her hands, her mind clouded by a storm of conflicting emotions. What had she learned? Humanity was designed for greatness, yes. But with that greatness came a responsibility that no one had ever prepared for. The galaxy had feared humanity for a reason. The potential for greatness was as great as the potential for destruction. Should we let humanity rise? Elena asked, her voice hollow. Should we allow them to embrace this power? Or should we destroy it and keep humanity in the dark forever? Tasher's response was quiet, almost reluctant. I cannot tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I believe. Humanity deserves to know the truth. But there are those who would use this knowledge for their own gain. The Dominion wants to keep you weak. The Lyrans want to control you. They all fear what humanity could become, because they know that if Earth awakens to its potential, nothing in the galaxy will be able to stop it. Elena took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. The weight of her decision was suffocating. If she allowed humanity to rise and seize control of the Veil, they would be unstoppable. But that power could easily lead to tyranny, to endless war. The very thing that the galaxy feared could become a reality, a future where humanity ruled with an iron fist, spreading destruction in its wake. Yet, if she destroyed the artifact, humanity would remain forever ignorant. The truth of their origins, the knowledge of what they could achieve, would be buried, and humanity would continue to live in the shadows, unable to reach the potential that had been encoded in their very DNA. Her mind swirled with doubt. Was humanity truly ready for such power? Would they rise to the occasion, or would they fall into the same traps that had ensnared the ancient civilizations before them? Could they avoid becoming the tyrants the galaxy feared, or would they, too, become enslaved by the same desire for control? And then, a thought struck her, sharp and clear. It wasn't about whether humanity could handle this power. It was about whether they should. The galaxy had been afraid of humanity's potential because it saw only the destructive possibilities. But Elena realized that what made humanity unique was not just its potential for power, it was its capacity for self-reflection, for choice. Humanity was not destined to repeat the mistakes of the past. It was capable of transcending them. The real question, Elena realized, wasn't about power at all. It was about what humanity chose to do with it. Tasher watched her closely, sensing the shift in her thoughts. "Elena," he said softly, "what will you do?" She took one last look at the artifact, its pulsing energy casting shadows across her face. She could feel the weight of the decision pressing down on her chest. The power to reshape the galaxy was within her grasp, but so was the choice to let go, to trust that humanity would make the right choice. And in that moment, Elena knew what she had to do. The decision would define the future of humanity, but it would not be made for them. It had to come from within. She turned to Tasher, her eyes steady and resolute. "We will find a way to make humanity worthy of this power," she said. "But we will do it on our terms. Not as conquerors, as stewards." And with that, Elena made her choice. The galaxy's future was in her hands, but more importantly, it was in humanity's hands. It would be up to them to rise above the mistakes of their ancestors, to choose their destiny. But the real question remained, would they choose wisely? Would they use their power for creation or destruction? The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity was no longer the underdog. And whatever came next, they would face it together. The decision had been made. With a steady hand, Elena Vasquez unlocked the artifact, the final key to the veil, a door to unimaginable power that had been hidden from humanity for millennia. The ancient, otherworldly energy surged through her, and for a moment, it felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. Then, without warning, the fabric of reality split open before her eyes, revealing the veil. It wasn't a place, not exactly. It was a space of raw potential, an infinite sea of possibility, where the remnants of an ancient civilization flickered like stars in the distance. Humanity's eyes were no longer turned inward, lost in their own petty struggles. The galaxy was vast, and they had the power to shape it. What they did with that power, however, remained in their hands. Elena took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. She had unlocked humanity's true potential, but with it came a responsibility that no one had ever imagined. The galaxy had watched in fear for centuries, waiting for Earth to awaken. And now, it had. However, instead of descending into chaos or tyranny, humanity chose a different path. The wisdom of the long-forgotten civilization encoded in the veil had shown them the way. Rather than becoming conquerors, the people of Earth chose to lead with peace and restraint. They had the power to dominate, to destroy, to rewrite the rules of existence itself. But that was not their choice. Humanity, once an isolated species at the mercy of galactic powers, now became a force for unity. Earth became the hub of a new diplomatic initiative, with Elena at the forefront of negotiations. Rather than using their newfound power to force others into submission, humanity offered assistance. They extended their hand to the other civilizations, offering to share their knowledge and resources to build a future of cooperation. They were not conquerors. They were stewards of the galaxy, champions of peace. Still, the road ahead was not simple. While some species welcomed humanity's new role, others were skeptical. The Lyrans, still shrouded in secrecy, viewed Earth with suspicion, unwilling to trust a species that had risen so quickly. The Karath Dominion, though wounded, still wielded significant influence and sought to undermine humanity's position, fearing that their former subjugation would one day come to an end. The balance of power had been shattered, but in its place, a new and fragile peace emerged. Humanity was now a force to be reckoned with, but was it ready for the responsibilities that came with it? Elena spent her days in meetings with alien diplomats, forging new alliances and navigating the complexities of galactic politics. Every decision she made carried weight. Every move she made risked undoing the delicate balance they had achieved. There were whispers of rebellion on the fringes. Dissent from those who felt humanity's rise was a threat. Some species, once dominant, were struggling to maintain their grip on power. They had lived for centuries, building empires, but now they had to share that power, something they weren't prepared for. But there were also glimmers of hope. Planetary systems that had once been embroiled in conflict began to see the possibility of a different future. The Zark, long feared for their brutal conquests, began to embrace new, peaceful trade routes, reaching out to Earth's new government. Even the Lyrans, though wary, had agreed to a series of secret peace talks, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, Earth's influence could be the catalyst for real change. Despite the optimism, Elena could not ignore the price that had been paid. The war with the Dominion was far from over, and the tensions between the galaxy's old powers and the newly rising human force remained at a breaking point. Earth had not yet proven that it could handle the weight of its newfound responsibility. Would humanity succumb to the same temptations that had led to the downfall of so many before them? Would they become the very tyrants they had once feared? As Elena gazed out from the heart of Earth's new intergalactic capital, the city shimmering beneath her, she felt the weight of history pressing down on her. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were within reach, a reminder of the vast potential humanity had just begun to tap into. But with that potential came danger, the danger of becoming what the galaxy had once feared. She often found herself lost in thought, asking herself the same question that had haunted her throughout this journey: could humanity truly escape the cycle of conquest, fear, and domination? Or was the temptation to wield absolute power too great for any species, no matter how noble their intentions? Elena didn't have the answer. There were no guarantees in this new age, no certainty that humanity would rise above the mistakes of the past. The galaxy was changing, but so were the people of Earth. They were learning, evolving, trying to find a balance between their newfound power and their old ideals of peace. One thing was clear: humanity's story had just begun. They had a long road ahead, filled with choices that would shape the future for better or for worse. And no one, neither Elena nor any of the galactic leaders, knew for sure where that road would lead. As she looked out over the sprawling cityscape, the lights of Earth's new capital sparkling like stars, Elena felt a deep sense of responsibility. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in her life, humanity had the power to choose that future, to forge a new path. The question that lingered in the silence of the night was not whether humanity would rise to greatness, but how they would rise. Would they become the leaders the galaxy had hoped for, or would they succumb to the same temptations that had destroyed every other civilization before them? The answer, Elena knew, was still to come. The stars were waiting, but humanity had to prove they were ready to lead them. The future was open-ended, and the story was far from finished. The only certainty was that Earth, for better or worse, would be at the center of it all. And, as Elena turned away from the window, she whispered softly to herself, "What will we choose?